Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Sunday Morning Coffee with Lisa. I'm Spiritual Coach Lisa Hopp. It is Sunday, March 1st, 2020. 2 months so far, we've done it. We've gotten through. And I hope you're having a wonderful Sunday morning. Thank you so much for joining me. If you're new to my podcast, please check out my website at lisahopp.com for all of my services and upcoming events. And of course, if you're coming back, thank you so much. Once again, I am always overwhelmed by the tremendous support that I receive. And I get feedback every week. And sometimes the feedback is, that was all right. But I'm very thankful and that I've never really gotten, fingers crossed, anything negative really said to me about my podcast. So I'm going to enjoy that because, of course, I want my podcast to grow. And as it grows, I'm sure there'll be more diverse feedback. So, I'm coming to you, in case you don't know, from the Mid-Atlantic states of America, and we're starting a week. It's actually sunny today. I'll take it. A very mild week this week in the 50s, maybe even dipping into 60. I have to say, don't come through the microphone at me, but we haven't really had a good snowfall here in southern New Jersey, and I'm kind of sad about that. I like my seasons. That's why I'm here. And so I don't really want it to happen mid-March when I'm enjoying a vacation, but but I wouldn't mind a big one. And then on to spring, flowers blooming. But, we're starting to have daffodils bloom around here. It's rushed a bit. It's like a relationship that's being rushed. So I wouldn't mind whatsoever if we just took a little stall and a little break. But it is what it is, and I guess it could be worse, right? And I hope where you are, it isn't worse. I know that there are a lot of rains in the south that aren't needed, and, well, it's a lot of snow in Vermont that I'm sure you love. So, just thank you again for joining me in my neck of the woods. I appreciate it so very much. So, on to the topic. Just the other night, I was up in more central parts of my state doing a talk to a group of professionals. And it was always, my work is spiritual, so it was a spiritual talk. And I was directing comments towards one person at some point, and I mentioned that her loved ones in spirit were surrounding her and that we're never ever left alone. And I noticed that, it was a small group, by the way, it was only like 25 people. I noticed that the whole group of 25 people lifted up and reacted to that. It's like they had never heard that before, and you could tell it brought them such peace and such calmness, serenity, and a bit of excitement as well. And immediately hands went up, and the next question was, tell us more about that. And I don't think everyone knows it as much as it's so important for all of us to know that we are not on this earth ever for 1 second by ourselves. There was thought to be a well-known citizen of my neighborhood that passed over the last couple of weeks, and she passed within her home, and nobody was there. Her spouse had passed before her, and it took authorities time to discover her. And people who knew her as neighbors are very devastated by that. Yes, devastating, but also there is a comfort in knowing that she was not alone. No one ever walks around the earth alone. No one is born alone, of course, but no one passes alone. Not one moment of our existence, not one second, not one event happens to us that there isn't something in spirit there. So this podcast today is to give you some information about what your entourage around you looks like, because we all walk around with entourage. Some of us walk around with a bigger entourage than others, but that's not based on popularity. So, for instance, Justin Bieber, he's in my head because he's been everywhere lately, because he's about ready to start a tour. He doesn't walk around with any more of an entourage than perhaps you do, unless he needs a bigger entourage. And so, for instance, someone who is higher in power, like a pope or a president, would have a larger entourage because they need more security. But it isn't because they're more important to God or heaven, more special. It's just that they need more protection. So they would have more angels around them, perhaps more guides. But you have as many people around you as perhaps the most popular person in your town. All right, so it's not, heaven doesn't see us the way we were seen in high school, where we belonged to a clique and the popular kids had more people and the not so popular kids had less people around them or less attention. It's not like that at all. You're loved tremendously in a way that you cannot imagine with your human self. It is such a massive, unimaginable, immeasurable love, mercy, adoration, acceptance. It's all that you would hope for, but 100 million times more. It's truly immeasurable. So with that tremendous love coming at you, you have to have a team that's looking out for you, because you are precious. You are precious to that Creator that was involved in your creation. Right? You are not just a child of that Creator, but you are made in the image of likeness of that Creator. There's a lot of pride in you. There is a lot of pride in you. Not just love, not just understanding, not just mercy, but so much pride in the fact that you were created and exist. So heaven wants to keep you safe, wants to keep you surrounded, wants to keep you protected, like you are the most important thing on this earth or on any planet in our solar system and beyond. So it's very important for all of you, like me, who have suffered tremendous loss in your life, and some of you listening perhaps more loss than anyone else. Even though we do have an entourage that sees us as the most precious thing ever, we also have a life path. We have goals that we come to complete. We all have a time when we have to transition completely over to the other dimension of heaven. We all have to go through lessons and experiences in order to grow, but that doesn't mean that we're ever alone. And it also doesn't mean that our loved ones suffer in the way that we fear they do. Oftentimes, we are protected from that in some way as well, especially if we are at the end of our time in our physical body. So, please know that this applies to all of us walking around this earth and trying to live a good life and to get tasks done and to be happy. And it applies to everyone. So I hope that makes some sense. So to the beings that are around you, because it's important for you to know. It's important that you know you matter that much. So the first set around us, I think, surprises us the most. And I want to say it surprises us the most because of TV and movies. We assume that if our departed loved ones are with us, that they must be stuck on earth. They're unhappy, they're not at peace. Listeners, no, 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 no. Love. Love is eternal. And you have at least one loved one with you at all times. It may not always be the one you want the most, because they are busy little beavers, all right? If you've lost a mom, and I know you've lost a mom, a lot of you that listen to me, your mother is not just with you, she's with her other children. She's with her grandchildren. She's with her friends that are still on earth. She's with her siblings if they're still on earth. So she gets around, all right? But whenever you need her, she's there. Whenever you think of her, she's there. Whenever you are remembering wonderful things about her, she's there. She will hear you, even if she's not standing next to you. But most of the time, a mother is going to stand right next to you. Okay? And if she does hear you, when you are thinking of her, she will be next to you in the next second. Because heaven is instant. It doesn't have time. It doesn't need travel time to get to you. No one's far, far away. They're literally a second away at any moment. Okay? And so it's so important to know that. But let's say your mommy, I'm calling her that, by the way, because that's what I call my own mom. Your mommy, let's say she is with another child of hers. That means that you're going to get somebody else. Perhaps it's a grandmother. Perhaps it's an uncle or an aunt or a father. So somebody else will be there. And if you want a sign from your mother, that other loved one that is there may very well drop that sign to let you know that she hears you. And they're all hearing you, because heaven hears you and feels you as one. So you are not missing out, and they're not missing out on you. Okay? So important to know. So at least one departed loved one is with you. They're going to be traveling with you in your car. If you're on a bus, if you're on the plane. There's something about loved ones that want to be like a row or two back on a plane a lot of the time. And it's interesting because I wonder, where's the last row go? Are they in the bathroom? But it's like they want to protect you but not be up your butt a bit. But they're there. And sometimes they will let you know that they're there by the person sitting next to you has their name. Or strikes up a conversation with you that says the perfect thing. But I find that when I tune into them and I see them with you, they tend to be a row or two back. But don't look for them. You'll probably never see them. But they are there, and they can be right next to you if they need to throw their arms around you, their arms of energy around you, and protect you, or comfort you, or calm your nerves if you're like me and are a little bit nervous about flying. They're there. They know when they're needed. They're also there to protect you against accidents in your car. They're there to help you at work. I had a grandmother once that came into a client, and she told the client about her coworkers and what they were saying about her. She was in every conversation at work, and I have to say to you, she was loving it. She loved hearing what everyone was saying. She loved being inside, an insider, in the loop. And that is what, now she was unusual in that she was enjoying it so much and was outing people. Generally, that doesn't happen. Heaven will be around. You will hear everything your coworkers are saying, everything your boss is saying. But they generally sometimes may warn you about them. They might say something to you like, be cautious, or perhaps it's time to change positions. They generally don't completely out you with details on what they're talking about. So this was a very unusual circumstance, but she was adoring it. This was her mission here in heaven. And so they will play that part for you. They're looking out for you in your work. They're looking out for you in your business. They're looking out for you in your hobbies. They're showing up at your children's soccer games, lacrosse games. They're showing up at if you go to a football game, an NFL game, they're showing up with you. You are, as I said, you're never ever left alone. If you're traveling, they're traveling with you. They're on vacation with you. So it's so important for you to know that you can always talk to them. You can always center yourself and try to feel them. Because they don't mind, they want you to know that they're there. So that's a given. You always have at least one with you. It's all right to release with tears. It's all right to ask them to show themselves. I find the more you ask, the less you receive as far as signs, because we can block them. So do try to stay calm and centered, and just be extra sensory about your surroundings, what's happening around you, and then you'll have a clear understanding through some sign, whether it be a touch or a sound, something out of the corner of your eyes, things moving, birds acting weird, just various very common signs, but they will let you know they're there. And it can be a very common, very exciting, very happy experience. It can be a full relationship with your loved ones, even though they've crossed over. And that's so important. It's so important for us who are constantly seeking healing and constantly needing a reassuring hand and hug. They are especially there if you've been going through, like I was, a deep depression. I'm better from it now. You may not always feel them the way that you want to, but they will be there. They are doing their work, whether you realize it or not. The second spiritual being that is around you, at least 1 to 2, are your personal guardian angels. And we all are born with at least one watching over us, to 2, and we pass with those same guardian angels with us. And as needed, you get more. The angel author and speaker, Lorna Byrne, talks about unemployed angels also being around us. They are angels that are looking for a job to do. So if you're going through a tough time, a little bit more so, if you're going through a dangerous alley, if you are beginning a dangerous job as a cop or as a fireman, you are going to get more angels coming in towards you that aren't necessarily assigned to you personally, but are open to go where needed. You can always ask as well for more angels too, because there's more angels than you can possibly count. And they can always make more because they're made not from human material, but they're made from what I like to call sparks of God. They're made from God's source energy. They are luminous beings that are only capable of love and joy and service. And so they come around you very much to protect you, to guide you, to console you. They can be tough. They can be blunt with you, but they love you unconditionally. I feel like they're the best helpers to have around, even, maybe even more so than our departed loved ones, though they're pretty much equal. And so you have at least a couple of them always with you 100% of the time. When you're in a car, your departed loved ones will be in the vehicle with you. Your angels will be in the environment, on the outside. I've seen the angels literally slow down time to save my life. They can make traffic lights change. They can slow down cars. They can speed up time. They can do supernatural things in other ways to keep you safe and protected and to also assist you. They can take any form to do that. They're not always seen with wings. They can be the person saying the exact right thing. They can be a feather. They could be a bumper sticker. They could be a license plate. They can be any form. It could be something forming in the clouds. I remember one time when I was picking up my son. He was very young at the time. I was picking him up from a YMCA program. And it was torrentially raining. It was so raining. And I said to I was just learning about the power of angels, because this was at least 20 years ago. And I said to them, please, just for one moment, can you slow down the rain so I can get into my son without looking like a drenched, ridiculous looking person. The rain slowed right down to just a drizzle. So I had the ability to race into the building. And then I turned around and it started to massively pour again. This is what the angels can do. This is what they can pull off. They won't help you in that way if it goes against another's will. So if somebody else needed that torrential rain, they weren't going to help me. But in that case, it didn't go against anyone's will. I guess it helped everybody else to have a little bit of a break. So they were able to do it. All right. So keep that in mind. Ask them for help. They're always with you. They're always waiting to serve. The third spiritual being that is always with you, but the ones that we don't think about a lot of the time, that we don't really realize are with us, are our spirit guides. And spirit guides are not our departed loved ones. Though every once in a while, one of our departed family or one of our family doesn't come to earth, like a child that's not born or something like someone like that, can also play the part of a spirit guide. Excuse me, but the spirit guides I'm speaking about, one moment. I woke up on this Sunday morning with a bit of a sinus thing, but I think it's just the body waking up. It's not anything to worry about. Or, well, worry is a waste of time. Anything to be concerned about. So back to what I was saying. When we have temporary spirit guides like that, that's not the spirit guides I'm speaking about. The spirit guides I'm speaking about are spirit guides actually assigned to you. And they are beings that used to be on earth. They can be your saints. They can be the disciples of Christ. They can be Buddha. They can be Moses. They can be a carpenter who's had many lives and now just wants to be a teacher instead of coming back and learning over and over again. They've learned all they can to evolve their soul, or perhaps they want to take a break from being a student and now they're ready to be a teacher. So the spirit guides are your teachers, and they have specialties. Their specialties will be love or career or health or joy. And I'm sure various other significant and specific specialties. Whatever is required for your help and assistance here on earth. And so there's at least 1 to 2 of them traveling around with you as well. I usually around people will see anywhere from 3 to 6 to 10 spirit guides. Also, there, as I said, there can be more angels. Generally speaking, there's usually not, there may be a few loved ones, but there's not usually like 10 loved ones traveling around with you. But there can be that many spirit guides, and there can be that many angels. So spirit guides, for instance, will help you with, let's say you are feeling restless in your current job. You've outgrown it. You're ready for change. They're going to step in and guide you through that change. Sometimes they're whispering, and so you have to, do your own thing, look, research, apply to new jobs, maybe take a course, start a degree. They will set up the help for you. They may even whisper to you so loud that you get a gut to do something. You don't understand why you're drawn to do it. That would be your spirit guide. I often tell the story of my spirit guide. The first one ever really appeared to me. I I still have regret today. I suppose I could ask, but I felt like I should have asked at the time. There was once when I first began my spiritual journey as spirituality as my work. I had a spirit guide show up to me, and I was just doing a household task, and he appeared. And he looked like, he had long brown hair, and he looked like he belonged on the front of a Harlequin romance novel. And he was with me for quite a while, but I never really asked his name. I used to just know him in my head as Studley, because he was really cute. And I now regret that. Like, why didn't I ask him, who are you? But I was new to interaction, and so I more followed his education, his guidance, his specific tutoring, rather than ask him questions. I followed rather than asked him, who are you? Where did you come from? Why are you with me? I just wanted to be a good student at that time. And so I didn't do that back and forth. And now I just wish I had a little bit. But I know he doesn't mind going by that name. But I always look upon him and feel about him in a warm way, because he did help me to start my current profession. He was the first one to guide me into this work. And I appreciate that. I appreciate that very much, because I am doing my life purpose, and there's nothing like it to actually do your life purpose rather than have a job. Actually do your vocation. There's no greater joy. And so I appreciate him, and I will always admire him, miss him, and I look forward to seeing him again. So just as you can ask and talk to your departed loved ones, you can talk to your angels and ask their names and ask them to show you what signs. You can talk to your spirit guides, and yes, I now know you can ask their names. You can ask them what they're there to help you with. But more so, try to listen to the quiet whisper within you. Try to go where led, because they're with you to help you to live your greatest life possible. And it's worth it to invest the time to get to know them. Now, just like all your other spiritual beings, your spirit guides 1 to 2 will carry through life with you, and then others will come and go, because you're not always going to need a career specialty guide. You're not always going to need perhaps a health guide. So, but they will be there to help you follow through and to learn whatever you need to. So sometimes you will have 10, and sometimes you'll have just the 1. But how many you have, you can always ask for more as your soul goes along its journey and is living this life and educating itself and experiencing and expanding. There can always be more spirit guides to come into you. There can always be spirit guides that are helping you to author your destiny and to give you a comforting arm. Now, spirit guides speak to you differently than other beings. And let me go over that, how each of your spirit beings deal with you in a way of communication. If you were to hear from a departed loved one, they would pretty much have their personality, though being in heaven, they evolve as people. So they become more loving, more wise, more knowledgeable. So they may come to you and say, I'm different now. I'm more loving. I love you. I should have told you more. They can also have just a tiny bit still of their personality, or maybe they're blunt, or they have a weird sense of humor. Now, but for the most part, you should expect that your loved one will have somewhat still a little bit of a degree of their personality. The angels will talk with you and try to communicate with you in a very loving, flowery way. They may say, dear one, loved one, child. You are I adore you. You're the salt of the earth. They talk to you as if they are they're very loving towards you, or maybe even in love with you in some way. They're just, very, and very, when I channel from them, they could be very big picture as they speak. Listen to your higher guidance. Know that you are loved. They speak with a higher consciousness in a way that no other spiritual, let's just say our departed loved ones and our spirit guides don't speak. They're much more speak from a higher consciousness way, because there are ascended masters such as Jesus and Moses that can speak to you in that way as well. Our spirit guides tend to talk to us in a very teacher way, very professorial way, very practical way, very blunt way. Just do this. Listen to what I say. Stay calm. They'll use big words. I remember the first time I heard from a spirit guide, I asked what to do about a relationship, and they said, listen to the illumination of your soul. And I went, I gotta look that up. Whatever does that mean? I figured it out, by the way. And so they'll talk to you larger. So you might have to look it up. What are they saying? Or read it over time in order to fully encompass what they're trying to say to you in full meaning. So they come across much more educated, even if they weren't really educated in their lives, in their actual physical lives. But they are now teachers, so they're going to use their knowledge and their wisdom to assist you. Right? So they may send you books to read. They may guide you to read a book. They may guide you to research something. They may guide you to take a enrichment course. That's all the work of spirit guide. They can be loving. By the way, they love you unconditionally. You can't upset any of these beings around you. No one can you make angry. Nothing can you make angry or disappoint. There's no human emotion that you are capable of evoking in them other than love, which, as I said, is at a level that's not even human. They only know love, understanding, patience, wisdom. But yes, that doesn't mean a spirit guide won't be blunt and tell you, do this now. They can be very strict. They can't expect a lot, but you can't lose their love. It's not possible. You can be the biggest screw up in the world, and your crew loves and accepts you unconditionally. So back to this group the other night. That brought them such comfort. And it years ago brought me comfort, because I'm not perfect. I wish I were. I want to be perfect in every way, but I'm not. I probably mess up at least once a day without trying. But there is great security and I just want to stay with security in knowing that there's a crew of people, of beings that know me inside and out and want to be with me and want to help me no matter what I'm thinking, what I'm doing, and what I'm saying. And you have that as well. There's just a sense of comfort in that, and peace, and massive security. And that group, when they received that great gift the other night, their whole energy shifted. It just brought them such peace. And I want that knowing, that knowledge, to bring you peace as well, because it's yours too. Right now, listening to this podcast, you have at least 3 beings with you, if not more. They're either standing there, or sitting there, or lightly touching your hair, or in the corner a couple feet behind you, but they're watching you, and they're ready to serve. And there's absolutely nothing you can do today that will make them abandon you. And they want you to feel love, to feel wholeness, to feel happiness, to feel peace, to feel joy. And they'll do whatever they can to help you have it. And that is a great blessing. That is a great gift. And you deserve to have it. And you deserve to know about it. Thank you so much for joining me for that topic this week. Every week I keep promising you that I'm going to get back to my weekly videos. And it's closer. It's closer. I have gotten a request to talk about the coronavirus, as well as re-implement my weekly angel videos. If you are not listening to me through YouTube, I do videos on YouTube. Please check it out. Please like, share, subscribe. I would appreciate it so much. It's a good validation of the work of my being of service, and it also allows you to be of service, which is so very important because we're all one and we should be helping each other. I will say very briefly about this virus. It's very important to stay in the moment, stay calm, because we don't want to add to what is really going on, right? And pray, wash your hands, use common sense, and understand it can be an opportunity for us to achieve further oneness with each other, to understand that this overcomes any divisions due to race, class, religion, anything, because anyone can get a health matter, right? Health is the ultimate uniter. It's the thing that can bring us together. So let yourself be a part of that, of the bringing together, and see what we can do as a mass of humans to ward this off. Make sure that you get educated, informed. The media, by the way, I keep hearing all this week, the media is the enemy. The media is not the enemy. It depends on, use your God-given intuition and your God-given common sense. Yes, some media is all about divisiveness. Some media are all about sensationalizing and ratings. But see through that and listen to the undercurrent of what the information is, and get your information from proven sources that are not leaning any which way. The media is not your enemy, right? Those who use the media can be your enemy, okay? Your common sense and your gut are great gifts that will always, always assist you. Let's be sure not to let picking our teams keep us from using our common sense and take us away from health, right? Because we don't want to be dumb. We don't want to be dumb. All right? Thank you so much for joining me again. I look forward to talking to you next week at this podcast station. Have a wonderful first week of March, and I wish you health, happiness, joy, abundance, and whatever you would wish for. Thank you again. Thank you again. God bless.